Hi, I'm Merkle Keach. Today I'm here with Kat Lessard, and Kat, just like everyone else, has been an amazing member at Iron Core, and here to talk about her story, her experience, her results, all the details, and it's a pretty interesting story at that. So Kat, thank you for taking the time to be here. I really appreciate it, especially with everything going on.
No problem.
All right, so let's set the stage. Let's kind of step back. Before you started training there, let's give people kind of an idea of what was going on in life. Like, where were you, kind of what was going on physically, emotionally, that ended up actually leading you to sign up?
So I was at my absolute heaviest. I was 204 pounds, unhappy, at least not unhappy in life, but unhappy with my appearance I was having trouble breathing just because I was getting so heavy. And so I kept trying little things here and there, the newest bad diet. I'm going to try this little workout that they've put online, whatever. Nothing was working. Nothing was sticking. And a couple of girls at my work, regular members of Iron Core, they kept bugging me, come, come, come. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can't do that. That I can't lift heavy stuff. I can't swing bells around. There's no way. And they finally convinced me after 2 years to come. So I did. I said, I'll try it. 1 week, I'll try it. During that 1 week, they were starting a weight loss challenge starting the following week. So they said, no pressure. Join for the 6 weeks. Do the challenge. If you don't like it, there's no obligation. I said, fine, I'll do the 6 weeks. In the first week, I'd lost, I think it was 5 pounds. That had never happened. Usually 2 pounds max, maybe, if I was sticking to it and being good. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. Kept going, kept watching my food and doing the workouts. And I only went 3 days a week. So really, it's an hour and a half of workouts a week and watching your eating. And by the end of the challenge, the 6-week challenge, I had lost 25 pounds and I was down 10 inches.
Wow.
There was no doubt in my mind that this place worked. Not just his program, but the people. They're a family. You have a bad day, everybody's like, hey, what's going on? How can we help you? What do you need? Not just the trainers, but the clients. It's just a family. They all care. So that was really the changing point for me, that I was like, I am never leaving this gym. This is what works for me. I'm happy. I'm not busting my butt for an hour a day at the gym to get minimal results. I'm doing 30 minutes with people I have fun with and getting amazing results.
And you saw that in just 6 weeks.
In just 6 weeks.
Wow. And
After that, I continued to keep up my dieting and my workouts 3 days a week, 4 if I could fit it in. And I lost another 25 pounds. So I was down 50 pounds in total.
Wow.
After a year and a half.
Wow. Okay. And you said that 6 weeks you were down 10 inches. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. So total, like, did you have any idea how many inches you were down total, or clothing sizes too?
Well, clothing sizes, I went from a 16 to about a 10, 12, depending on the brand. And inches, I was at 48 inches around my waist. And I went down to, sorry, maybe it wasn't 10 inches. I went down to 39, 38, 39.
Yeah. Wow. And
Yeah.
those were just the number side of it, right? When you start losing that kind of weight, you see some other benefits too, right? Like, what else were you noticing?
I was happy. I was happy with me. I had this confidence about me. I felt strong. My entire demeanor changed.
Do other people notice this changes? Obviously, they see the physical side of it, but did they see the demeanor, the emotional side of changing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my husband, my daughter, she started paying attention to the things I was eating. And what's that, Mom? Okay, let me try that. And so it was good to see it in my daughter too. And then I'd catch her every once in a while doing some sneak workouts in her bedroom, just trying things herself.
I'm so intrigued by the results that you've seen in really a short period of time, right? You did the
Yeah.
6 week challenge, and then within a year and a half, you'd seen all these other changes. You talked about how much happier you were, your demeanor was better. What about other side of things? Were there aches and pains that you were having before? Like, were you feeling better? Were things easier to do? What else were you seeing?
So I have very little cartilage left in my knees. My doctors told me that for years. I will probably need knee replacements at some point. I was having trouble just going for a 45-minute walk. My knees would be hurting me. That knee pain is gone.
Wow.
I feel it occasionally, but that's things like you go to an amusement park for an entire day. But on the regular basis, that pain is gone, which normally I had that pain every day, all the time. And the knee pain is gone.
I'm guessing too, right? With everything in our day to day lives, right? Emotions, things kind of go up and down, like stresses are up and down.
Absolutely.
Was this helpful for that and managing that? And you notice that there's a stress, like much lower stress, or you're better at dealing with a lot of that stuff now?
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of times I take out my stress there, you know. Before COVID, we had circuit days where he would set up every other Thursday was a circuit day, and he would set up the gym in different stations essentially, and we always got to use the punching bag during those times. And let me tell you, I took out my frustration on that punching bag at times, but other times it's just, like I said, the clients. You know, you're having that bad day, but you still show up and they're like, hey, we're going to get you through this. We're going to do this together. And everybody just takes on those burdens and cares about what's going on in your life. Um,
Interesting.
and stress wise, you feel better when you leave. It's like you have that 30 minutes of this time is about me. It's not about anybody else. I've got this 30 minutes to focus on me. And somehow just having that 30 minutes, you walk out and things seem a little less stressful.
Did you find that with this group that you're training with, right? You mentioned that it was a family, but have you become friends with them too?
Oh, absolutely. Very close friends.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have that support system of them there to get you through those moments. And everybody, I'm guessing, who comes in, right, different shapes, different sizes, fitness levels. So are the trainers able to modify for anybody who's kind of just in a different range? Like you're in a very different spot than you were a year and a half ago. So can they
Yeah,
modify things for people at different levels?
absolutely. So we ask when they start, you know, what are your aches and pains, injuries, so on. And we will, as we're training throughout the 30 minutes, you know, we're cognizant of so and so's got a shoulder injury. Okay, so here's the move for so and so. You're going to try and do this instead. Um, just being very careful. And if somebody stops in the middle of something, what's going on? What's the problem? You know, okay, so that's hurting. Let's try and do this move instead. And we try to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah. And you're saying we. So that's very interesting that you're saying we are very concerned. Do you mean we as a client or something else?
Trainers.
Okay. So
So,
you're a trainer as well now?
yes, so during my first year and a half there, it was probably a year into me being there. Rob asked me to come into the office after my workout the one day, and he said, "I just want to talk to you quickly." I'm like, "Okay." So I go in there, and he says, "So Jen and I were talking, and he says, we really feel that you would be a great trainer." I started laughing immediately. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You don't want me?" Because yeah, we do. He says, "You've been through it. You've had success. You love it." And he says, "You've got the personality that I can't train somebody to care, to be enthusiastic, to talk to people the way you do." He says, "I can't train people to do that. I can train them on how to show people moves and so on." But he says, "I can't train somebody on a personality." And he says, "You've got that care and compassion and enthusiasm for this place. And yes, we want you."
Wow.
So I went when I thought about it and I talked to a couple of the girls that I worked with and I said, "Would this be weird if I was training you?" And they said, "No, that's amazing. Do it." So
Yeah.
I jumped in and I said, okay, let's try this.
Would you have ever guessed that you would have been moved into that position or asked to do that when you first joined or started?
Never,
Hmm. Hmm.
never.
We were talking a little bit before recording, and I have a note on this too that I want to talk about your dad for a second because as you were going through this process, this was a big part of it, I'm guessing, right? Can you explain or just share briefly with people like what had happened with your dad and he had gotten sick? Can you kind of just go into that for us?
Yeah. So he passed about a year ago, and a year before that, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Um, when I found that out, I I continued coming to the gym, and everybody knew what was going on. And each day was just a challenge, right? Emotions take over. Um, they just trainers, clients, everybody, because they're like a family. They just kept me on track and kept me focused. And again, those were my 30 minutes to get away from it. So they talked to me about it at the beginning. How's your dad doing? Anything we can do to help? And then I had my 30 minutes of reprieve from that. When he passed, and I think I took time off from training almost immediately. I was just like, I can't right now with my full-time job. I work for ambulance dispatch. That's a lot of stress as it is. And then with my dad, I was like, I can't right now. And Rob was more than willing to say, you take the time you need. We're always here. You are always welcome to come train whenever you want. You tell me what you need. Um, it has been a tough couple of years. So having them there, and even right after he passed, I think it was 2 weeks after he passed, I went back to the gym and I cried through my entire 30-minute workout, but I did it. And every single one of them just kept saying, you can do it, Kat. Keep going.
What did it mean to you knowing that you had this family there for you and that you had this support? What did that mean to you?
Everything. It's it's a strange thing because you don't get this walking into these big gyms. You know, everybody's doing their own thing. They're just concerned about themselves. You're just another nameless face walking into those big places, unless you go with a friend. But you walk into Rob's gym and it's, even if you're the stranger walking in, everybody's like, hey, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Like having those people there that as you become a regular there and they know who you are and they start to learn who you are, because it's not just about the 30 minutes, it's about who you are. Do you have kids? Are you married? What's going on? We get to know each other, and it's not just about the workout, it's about you as a person and what we can do to help each other.
And you never had that, like anything close to this anywhere else?
No, no.
Interesting.
It
So,
was always trying to figure out, how do I use this machine? Nobody's coming over to help me. I don't know what to do. Okay, I figured out this machine. Now what? I, it's not like that there. Even if you look completely lost, there's people stopping their workouts to say, no, do this, grab that belt, go over there, do that.
so with this entire process, in terms of the journey that you've taken, what you've been through, and all of this, has this been life changing experience for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I I even joined that new Movati a little while ago, basically because I wanted the swimming. I wanted a pool. But again, I felt that like I'm here all by myself. Nobody's here. But never, ever in my mind was giving up Iron Core an option. That will be in my regiment for the rest of my life. That is what I love and I know works. Nothing else compares.
Okay. So you've gone through this entire journey. I just want to shift gears and then we'll start wrapping up because you keep touching on the family, the community, and you mentioned Rob a little bit. Now, obviously, you've been through this. You've gotten to know Rob. I want to talk a little bit about him. So, and also because as a trainer, right, you get to see him as a different side, right? Not just as a client, but now you work alongside with him.
Yeah.
You got to know him pretty good. So what can you tell me about him? What kind of, like, any words or phrases that pop to mind that describe the type of person that he is?
He's enthusiastic. He absolutely loves what he does, and he makes sure that he brings everybody in as a family. When you come in, he's introducing you to people. He wants to make sure that you feel that family because he feels like this is his family as well. They're not just clients, it's not just a payday. It's it's changing people's lives, and he wants to be a part of that for each person that comes in that gym. And then even as I have gone through my journey, obviously I've had my ups and downs, and I've gained weight when my dad passed and so on. And, it was always, what can I do for you, Kat? He's caring. He takes time out of his day to make sure that you have what you need to succeed. And if it's just a pep talk, it's the pep talk. If it's, oh, you need a new eating plan, here, I've got this and this and this, and this is what we need to talk about. You need more protein. What have you been eating? Okay, so I see your diet. I need you to change this and this and this. And then it's ultimately up to you whether you take his advice, but he wants to make sure he puts you on the track and he gives you the things that you need to succeed. Rob is just all about success within his gym, because that success will ultimately only help you and help his business.
And I'm guessing that, again, I'd asked this before, but you didn't expect that. Like, you've probably worked with or dealt with some trainers in the past, and have you had anybody that really kind of takes it to the level that Rob has taken it to?
At any other gym, never. Nobody's ever stepped up like that. Jen, obviously, his secondary trainer there, she's full-time at Iron Core, and she is absolutely amazing too. And she has the same enthusiasm for the place. She has had her own successes coming in there, and Rob trained her. And when I initially said yes, I talked to her. I said, I don't know what to expect. And she says, I don't think you know my story, but she says, my story is quite similar to yours. I said, you really? She goes, yeah. She says, Rob can do this for you, and you just have to believe that you can do it, and he can train you to do it. But Jen is an incredible force in that gym too. She is strong and encouraging, and she pushed me through a lot of things too.
I'm curious to know, because you've gotten to know both of them, but I also know that I've spoken with a number of other members in the gym, and they always have some interesting things to say about Rob. Is there anything funny, anything quirky, or anything along those lines that kind of stand out where you're just like, yeah, you know what, that is totally Rob, that's his personality? Does anything kind of stand out to you?
He is quirky. We can mess around with him and have fun with him. And when you're having a hard time, he's like, you can swear at me. That's okay. Keep swearing at me, because he he knows it's hard. And he
Yeah.
knows that we want to just yell at somebody to get us through that 30 seconds of that whatever move you're doing. And he does joke all the time. He was like, hey, if you need to swear at me out loud, you go for it.
So he can poke fun at himself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is he kind
I
of
hate I hate Rob. Just say it over and over again. I hate Rob.
Yeah, that's you're not alone in saying that. I've heard basically everybody else says the exact same thing with that they can have fun with that, and it's kind of along those lines. But I'm curious to know and it doesn't sound like it, but there are trainers out there where they're just like counting reps, or they're just yelling at you, right,
Yeah.
to get things done. It sounds like he's not like that.
No. I mean, he does encourage you to keep going, but it's not in a forceful, like if you give up, you're less of a person for giving up. There's encouragement to it.
Right.
Um, and if you see somebody struggling, he's beside you, coaching you through it. Not pushing you harder than you can go, but pushing you to what you can do.
Okay. So I'm going to start wrapping up. Just a few more questions for you. I guess, let's say someone is about to hop on board, right? They're thinking about it, but they're still not sure. They're still a little iffy or 50-50 on the fence. What would you tell that person to get them off the fence?
I would tell them to give it a chance because I was on the fence too until I saw the results. Give it the chance to see if it works. Because in my experience, it works. And everybody that I have seen that has really put a conscious effort into your eating and committing to 3 days a week, you can do it and you will see the results.
So that leaves me to this last question. It's really, from everything you're saying, it's just had a massive impact on you. Not just you, right? Your family as well.
Yeah.
Everybody around this have seen the difference. And you said yourself, it's been life changing. So I want to throw a hypothetical out there. And let's just say right now, hypothetically, that Rob is shutting everything down, right? He's closing up the gym. He's turning off all online, phone, email, you name it. And this is the last time that you can say anything to him. Knowing it's the last time, what would you want to say?
Thank you. Pure and simple. Thank you. Because now I know what to do and I know how to do it.
It's
I
awesome.
mean, I'd be devastated, but it would be thank you.
Mm. Well, Kat, thank you for taking the time to come on, share the whole story, the ins and outs, the journeys, the ups and downs, everything. I really, really do appreciate you being here. And I honestly mean it when I say this. I wish you the best of luck with everything moving forward.
Thank you.